Hello everyone, today I'm going to be redrawing one of my childhood drawings to see if I can make it look any better than it was before. I was really struggling to find one that I could actually change, but I decided on that one because it seems most changeable. I started sketching it out to get a rough idea of what I wanted to do, and I think that I did pretty well. I honestly hate drawing people, but I really needed to because it was in the childhood drawing of mine. So hopefully I can make it better. At this point I realised I don't like where I positioned it at all, so I just moved it down a bit. Getting the proportions right in any sort of drawing is an absolute nightmare, but when it comes to people it's 100 times worse. Here I started making the colour palette. Needed to sit on my bed at this point, the chair was so uncomfortable. I thought that this was a good point to start doing the base of the colours, so I started doing it here. And I did all three of the mountains in the background different colours, so there was more depth in it. Here I changed my mind and thought that the grey mountain was more of the sky, if it was cloudy or misty. So this is what I was doing here. I was blending it out so it could look more cloudy and rainy. Here I changed the colours back to the full capacity, and I realised I liked it way more when it was more muted because it looks rainy or cloudy. This is the part I dreaded most out of this whole thing, doing the person, because that was my least favourite thing to draw, to colour. Fashion drawings, that's fine, but when I have to do details, I hate it. I'm sure you might be wondering what this drawing was even meant to be. It was I used to write a lot of short stories when I was younger, and I also used to draw the pictures myself. So this one was called The Diamond Hunter, and this girl snuck out to go dig diamonds in the middle of the night. I started adding some green into the dirt so it had more depth to it and wasn't just a plain brown, so it looked more like there was grass in it as well. One of the reasons I love using Procreate is because there's so many different brushes, because I was not going to sit there drawing single strands of hair for who knows how long. This part annoyed me so much though, because I realised that I had to do a base under the hair so that it would actually look more full, rather than me doing the strands of hair over and over, which would just make it look like a big blob of colour. Here I decided to change to a different brush for the hair so that it had more volume and depth as well, rather than just using one brush, which would leave it looking flat. If you're wondering what I'm doing at this point, I'm just scraping layers together that are similar, so the base of the hair and the strands of it. I was just doing the details of the face, and I know it seems like it won't matter because it's just in the background and it's a really small piece of the picture, but you can really tell when the details are off. which they definitely still are, even though I tried. I didn't like where I positioned the mouth, so I moved it, and then I moved it again, and then I kept flipping it because I thought that would make it look better. It looks a lot better than it did before, but it's still not the best. I was dreading drawing the trees. So, luckily, I had the great idea to go look for a set of brushes because you can download some for free. So I did that, and luckily I found a set of 32, I think. And here I was just positioning all the trees for depth and the tone to look like shadows and like it was dark outside. And I really liked how the main bit turned out. I was just adding as many trees as I could, and I added a green mist over it so that it didn't look as prominent since it was in the background. For this mountain, I was just adding trees of a bunch of different colours so that there was more depth, and so it was like more autumn fall colours. I kept blurring them with the motion blur, and then I added more layers on top of it so it looked even further in the background. I just kept adding trees until I felt like that was enough, and I think that I reached a good amount. Here we're going to adding some white so that it could give more of a misty vibe, because as I said before, the blue mountain already makes it look more misty and foggy. Here I just did the same thing towards the front of the image, so the foreground was also looking misty and it wasn't just in the background. And here's the before and the after. I think it turned out pretty well. Thank you for watching.